Pakistan has reacted sharply on the remarks made by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, where he mentioned that all the terrorists who now are planning to have a free run in country and go back to their safe shelters, the days are over for them. Now the Indian agencies and forces will not shy away from entering such places and killing them. Ghar mein ghus ke marenge. That was the kind of remark that Defense Minister had made during a conversation with group editor of CNN News 18. And since then, there has been clearly jitters in Pakistan establishment that India's foreign policy, India's defense policy has come a long way since decades. We have seen how Pakistan, its proxies, and various other terrorist organizations have been creating this menace of terrorism in India, especially in the states of Kashmir, Punjab. Then there are other parts of our country also, especially the Mumbai terror attack is one such example where they have been clearly involved. There have been dossiers, there have been summons where India tried to convince Pakistan that these are the terrorist organizations that you should act upon. There has been no action. So clearly those policies or those rhetorical days are gone. Now Indian agencies and Indian government believes in acting on its own if they have believable input, if they are certain about some elements who have created terrorist activities in India and then they have gone back to some safe shelters. Their time is over now, and Indian agencies will not shy away from doing that. This is also a report has been published in the Guardian recently, which says and suggests believing or having conversation with Pakistani intelligence officials. That's about 20 terrorists. That is the number. 20 terrorists have been killed by Indian agencies or their sleeper cells, which have been operating from UAE and which have been working on behalf of Indian agencies. 20 terrorists have been killed in Pakistan in the recent years. Those who were involved in terrorist activities inside India. At least Pakistan intelligence officials were honest enough to acknowledge the fact that they were terrorists and they were involved in some some heinous activities done in India over the past several years. And of course, Pakistani side had not taken any action and they were freely roaming around Pakistan's cities and streets and they were killed. Indian government has so far denied any role in such killings and they have said that this has been not our state policy. Now, let me take back to you to the statement that the Pakistani Foreign Ministry has made, and they have said that Pakistan stands resolute in its intent and ability to safeguard its sovereignty against any act of aggression, as demonstrated by its robust response. So clearly, Pakistan is now not dealing only with India's formidable response to cross-border terrorism, but its other border, its western borders are also very restrictive. We have seen what is happening with Pakistan along the Durand line. Several fronts have been opened by the Taliban. They have targeted Pakistani security force. Several killings have happened. The terrorists, the Taliban Pakistan, which has an allegiance with the Taliban of Afghanistan, they have been continuously attacking Pakistan coming from across the border. That is very porous border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. And there is a clear tacit support of Taliban to those organizations which have been creating menace in Pakistan. So clearly Pakistan is having a bitter taste of its own medicine, which it has been using against India for a very long time. Talking about the other front, that is along Iran, we have just seen how Iranian drones, Iranian missiles targeted civilian population location in Pakistan. So Pakistan had seen cross-border action happening from Afghanistan side, cross-border action happening from Iran side, and cross-border action happening from Indian side. Of course, we have seen how Balakot had happened, where hundreds of terrorists were killed by Indian Air Force, formidable, and precisely guided bombings. So these are the incidences of past, which clearly has some bearing of in the minds of policymakers of Pakistan, where they fear that such statements made by India's defense minister may not be just a rhetoric like it used to be in the past, but Indian agencies may use such policies in future, and that is where probably Pakistan will have to shed away from its state proxies or state policy of using terrorism to weaken India, to make India or compel India to come on dialogue table and accept several of its unjustified demands. So now, with the statements that has been coming in the recent months by Prime Minister, by Defense Minister, from side of External Affairs Minister, it has been clearly established that since at least Pulwama attack had happened, where about 40 security personnel had to die because of this terrorist activity. Since then, there has been a clear and very directional approach on how to deal with terrorist activities and how not to shy away from taking the extreme step, crossing borders and eliminating every single possible person who have been involved in killing or targeting Indian agencies, Indian security personnel, Indian civilian, or they pose any threat to Indian government or its officials. So that has a clear change of India's policy. Is a long term policy of India being a soft power, India not acting or at least not initiating any response or preemptive strike against any terrorist location in Pakistan. Those days are gone. Now India can do preemptive strikes also. That is the kind of suggestion that has been made by the Indian government in the past several months, and this is what probably makes the policymakers in Pakistan little restless, that their state proxies, their state policy of harboring terrorism, protecting terrorism, and sending them, crossing them over to India and creating menace and then trying to arm twist India, those days are gone. Policies have been clearly laid out. Now, every single terrorist who happens to cross the border and who does any nefarious activity, they will be dealt with very strongly handled response from the Indian forces. And this is what the clear mandate has been told. This is what probably Defense Minister Rajnath Singh was also suggesting when he was having a conversation with CNN News 18, that India's forces will now respond. They will now go ahead, they will cross the borders, they will घर में घुस के मारेंगे. That was the claim that our defense minister made, and that has probably left the Pakistani establishment sleepless ever since those remarks have been made.